unbeliever, the atheist, the humanist, they hunger for truth, justice, and love, but they seek it, and they seek to ground it in what has been made rather than the one who has made them. Introduction. Humanism is a peculiar religion. Yes, I just called humanism a religion, and someone will probably make some comment about not being so. At this point, I don't really care, and there's enough short piers that they can take a long stroll down. I guess what I mean to say is when it comes to being peculiar, is that it pretends to be something original, as if it sprang into existence, uncaused and without history or genealogy, sui generis, a sort of Melchizedek of religious persuasions, when in reality it is a rebellious and prodigal son. Humanism seeks to take all of the riches that God through Christ and his church, i.e. Christianity, has given and act like that youngest son from the parable in Luke 15. Moreover, it embodies the pride, arrogance, ungratefulness, and unholiness of a heresy of those who are lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, people who have the appearance of godliness but deny its power. 2 Timothy 3, 1-5. And when I call it a religion, I don't do so haphazardly. I do so rightly, as evidenced by the fact that organizations who propound it, such as the Freedom from Religion Foundation, have conferences and meetings where they promote and proclaim its virtues. No clearer evidence of this is found than in their 2022 meeting, and it's especially found in a speech by a young woman by the name of Elle Harris, who has written a children's book titled Elle the Humanist. Now, Miss Harris tells us of her upbringing as a young humanist.
My family also loves science, and we grew up watching shows like The Cosmos, PBS Kids, and Bill Nye the Science Guy. My family is also secular, and I grew up learning things like the 7 secular virtues and the Platinum Rule.
Now, I had to look up what these 7 secular virtues are, and I found that there are essentially 2 versions. From that first list, they are free thinking, living in reality, here and nowness, acceptance of existential mystery, scientific empiricism, cosmopolitanism, and empathy/compassion. Second list is a little more generalized: humility, empathy, courage, honesty, openness, generosity, and gratitude. Now we can contrast these with what are historically considered Christian virtues of chastity, temperance, charity, diligence, patience, kindness, and humility. Moreover, we can place these historic values in line with those things which the writer of Proverbs says are detestable to God: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that make haste to run to evil, a false witness who breathes out lies, and one who sows discord among the brothers. Proverbs 6, 16-19, ESV. But then there's the Platinum Rule, which is often understood as just the positive formulation of the Golden Rule. That is, the Golden Rule says you should not do unto others what you would not have them do to you. And the Platinum Rule is, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The commonality of this precept, both in its positive and negative formulations across cultures and religious backgrounds, have caused certain humanists to believe that its existence requires no theistic justification. The Christian responds to this fact by pointing out that it proves the ubiquitous of God's self-revelation and that his moral demands are universal because it proves that his law is written on our hearts. Romans 2:15. Looking for what we already have. At the risk of sounding like a conspiracy theorist, one cannot help but notice that those who hate Christ are always looking for ways to bring mankind together. No clearer evidence of this can be found than in a recent meeting of the World Economic Forum in Lisbon, Portugal, where Yuval Noah Harari, speaking on the subject of artificial intelligence, is reported to have said,
throughout history, religions dreamt about having a book written by a superhuman intelligence, by a non-human entity. Every religion claims our book, all the other books of the other religions, humans wrote them. But our book, no. It came from some superhuman intelligence. In a few years, there might be religions that are actually correct. That just think about a religion whose holy book is written by an AI. That could be a reality in a few years.
Now, it begs the question of what does it mean to have a religion that is actually correct? Likely it means one that agrees with him and his goals. There's already a word for that. It's called idolatry. Similarly, in their 2018 book, Evolution, Science, and Ethics in the Third Millennium, Robert Cliquet and Dragana Aramov, who do not even attempt to hide their anti-supernaturalism with regard to ethical justification, bemoan the impact of religion by writing, "The persistence of religious traditions will continue to direct or influence behavior of believers and play an important role in the lives of many people." They complain about Christian moral principles, writing, "Most Christian denominations use medical science to lower the suffering of their believers in the terminal stages of life. They develop palliative care practices in cases of incurable disease, which is in fact a soft and prolonged form of euthanasia. They don't seem to realize that this exercise in what they dismiss as merely palliative care practices has given doctors an opportunity to study the progress of many diseases that were once considered to be incurable, and to transform those diseases into ones that are treatable, such as diabetes and numerous degenerative diseases, if not outright curable, such as cancers. Now, while the discovery of such treatment or cures may not be directly credible to Christians as individuals, the environment which made those discoveries directly possible is nonetheless founded and anchored directly within a distinctly Christian ethical environment. As such, their desire to, quote, convince religious and secular ideologies about including or integrating an evolutionary ethical approach in their basic philosophies is just one step towards enhancing the potential for universal ethics, misses the fact that they already have one staring them in the face within the boundaries of the Christian worldview, a universal ethic expounded by the one who not only made the universe, but sustains it. Love your neighbor as yourself. Conclusion. It may seem as though this path has been trodden many times before on this blog, especially if you've been following it for a long time, so it may seem repetitive. But then again, it's often necessary to repeat those truths that we can so often overlook due to our familiarity with them. The unbeliever, the atheist, the humanist, they hunger for truth, justice, and love, but they seek it, and they seek to ground it in what has been made rather than the one who has made them. Romans 1, 20-23. In doing so, they ultimately remove any grounds to have knowledge, to address injustice, and to experience love. They look for greener grass, but wind up lost in the desert. Hey everyone, Triggerman1976 here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure and like it by giving it a thumbs up. If you found it informative and interesting, please be sure and share it with your friends. And above all, please hit that subscribe button. Again, I'm Triggerman1976. Thank you for watching.